I've always been really attracted to very different looking houses. I've been fascinated with tiny houses and also with people who were building their homes from natural materials such as cob and log home. So I've been watching videos and learning a lot about it, and I was talking all the time about tiny houses with Remi.
For me, I was always interested in building stuff and learning new skill. So when Noemie didn't stop talking about tiny house and small home, yeah, it sowed the seed in my mind, I think.
With our first build, the tiny house, I think our main goal was to reduce to the minimum our expenses, because it was costing us a lot of money to rent an apartment, and also we wanted a space of our own which was more aligned with the lifestyle that we wanted. So being in nature was really important, and also we were really interested in learning the skills to build, so it was a very good place to start. And then with this house, I think we had an even bigger picture of what we wanted for our life in general. We were very conscious about our footprint, ecological footprint, with the materials that we use. We wanted as much natural materials as possible, as well as still implementing the functionality of what we learned through living in a tiny house to save as much space as possible. Welcome to the witch house! When you enter, we have a place to hang our coats. It's just simple hooks. And here we have a very clever shoe rack that Remi made. And we store all of our winter boots and gear there. Then, once you entered, you have the kitchen on your left and also the bathroom straight in front of you. We kept the design of the kitchen really simple. We wanted something that wasn't taking too much space but was really functional. And one way we achieved that is by keeping the things that we use on a daily basis on display. So we have like our utensils on the walls, and my knives are holding there by a magnet. And we also have storage space, which is mainly used for food underneath the sink. All the wood that you see here is wood that come from our land, that Remi milled and that we processed into our kitchen. The water here comes from a well. And we built this industrial looking faucet using just the plumbing parts that we found for very cheap. We use a propane cook stove, which I really love. I think it works fabulously well. And also I have one of my favorite part of the kitchen, which is my pantry here, which I keep all my medicinal herbs and spices and also some bulk food. We tend to cook from bulk ingredients, like dried beans and flour and all of that. One thing that I really love about this kitchen is that we don't have many things that serve the only purpose of decorating. We use our everyday object as decoration, like this kettle, as you can see here. At the beginning, when we started to build this house, we were like really excited about all the aspect of homesteading. We wanted to be self-sufficient and also like being nice on the planet and grow as much food as possible and also make everything by ourselves. But we soon came to realize that it wasn't possible to do that all at once.
It was a big mistake.
Yeah, actually we burnt out ourselves a lot by trying to do everything at the same time. So we decided to focus first on making our house livable and practical for our everyday use. This is our kitchen table, and it's also sometimes an office, cooking, prepping area. And also we have our wood stove, which is the main heat source in this house. We use mainly the wood stove for heating the entire house. We also have a backup electric heater that we use when it's really cold at night and we don't want to get up to put some wood in the stove, which is a nice luxury. The living room feels pretty big because we decided that the house would have a very high ceiling, so you have this impression of space, which I also really like. And big windows were a must for us, so that's why you'll see a lot of windows throughout the house. Recently we did a new addition to this living room. Before it was only a plain cedar board wall, but I recently painted a mural, and I think it really adds to the whole fairy tale vibe of this house. Also, it gives just a pop of color, because you might notice that most of our house is made out of wood, and we wanted to break a little bit of the wood color.
Well, 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 we are back. We took 1 year of break from working for doing our house. All start in the winter when I logged all the tree for building this house, and I built all the windows in my garage.
Then during the spring, I debarked all the logs while Remi was working on dismantling the old cabin. And then finally the building process could begin.
And the building was finally done just before the first snow. So it take all together 1 year to make the space livable.
And now we only have the little finish touches to complete, and the house project will be complete. And then when the house is fully dried, we will be able to make all the finishing details, so it will be complete.
After living in a tiny house, we decided to build a house a little bit bigger than the first one, but it's still called a tiny house. And the reason for that is to save money and time. And actually, we don't need more. It's plenty enough for us.
Yeah, I think after transitioning from the tiny house, which we were really comfortable in, this space feels actually really big.
Yeah, we live in a palace right now.
Yeah. So it's not very long to tour the bottom of the house, the first floor. So now let's get on to the second floor. And then, when you climb up the stairs, you arrive at this little nook, which I really like. I spent quite a bit of time here, actually. Here's my spinning wheel, which I love to spin wool on. And also we have this little library, which we keep our books. And then this little hallway leads to the bedroom. So let's start with my daughter's bedroom. She's 9 years old, and I'm gonna show you what we did with her little room. This room is only 49 square feet. And it was really important in the design to keep in mind to have as much storage as possible. My daughter is 9 years old, and she's growing up, and she has quite a bit of stuff, and we wanted her to not feel that this room was too small for her. So one clever way that Remi designed was this higher bed with a lot of drawers underneath, and she can fit all of her clothes and toys and all of her items underneath the bed. She also have this desk drawer, which she really loves. She can do her homeworks and just her little projects in general on this desk. She also has smaller drawers, which can contain quite a bit of stuff, actually. Next to my daughter's bedroom is the master bedroom. Here's our bedroom. There's no door yet. That's one of the little things around the house that needs to be finished in the near future. This room is just a little bit bigger than my daughter's bedroom. We have like 2 more feet of space, but it's still very small for 2 person, but it still feels big enough for us because we added these big windows, which allows us to watch the stars at night, and I think it's very romantic and I like it a lot. We also have drawers underneath the bed, which is where we keep all of our clothes and as well as the bedding. Another unusual thing that we keep in our bedroom is my old sewing machine. It's a foot pedal powered machine, so there's no electricity needed for using it, and I really love to sew clothes. This is the second floor, but one thing that you might not see when you first enter the house is that we actually have a third floor. So here's the ladder that leads us to the third floor. It also doubles up as my clothes drying rack. So follow me, I'm gonna show you my art studio. I now make a living from my art full-time. I do painting, murals, and also tattoos.
As Noemie, I am a creative, but it's more in the woodworking part, and our lifestyle enabled me to choose different projects. It can go from doing a barn for someone or making furniture. It varies a lot.
The art studio is accessible through this floor trap, which I keep closed most of the time. It traps the heat at the bottom of the house and leaves me with a comfortable room to work in. I really love this space. This is like my main place of work. I'm a full-time artist and I paint a lot, so this is where the magic happens for me. There was challenges that came with the design of this space, mainly because there's no straight wall. We are in the under the roof right now, so all the walls are inclined except for the one behind me, and I chose to put a window there because I wanted to have the view of the river flowing across our land. So what we did is to create these folding tables, which I can put up when I need to work on a big piece, or I can work down when I work on smaller things. And I really like how I can move up the space according to my needs in the moment. So I change it quite a lot. A few times a year I will change the whole layout of the studio, and I think it's really nice to be able to do that. I keep all of my art materials underneath these two tables. I can access it just by lifting up this one, and also I have this furniture which has drawers that can contain pretty much everything that I need. I think this room is a good example of how we used a lot of reclaimed materials to build this house. Prior to this construction project, there was already a cabin here, and it was very old and it was very damaged, so we had to take the building apart, and we used a lot of parts of this old building into our house. Mainly the walls here are made of the old planks that we could salvage, and also we have some old metal roofing that we used quite a lot. When we built this house, we had a very limited budget, but it was really important to us to create a house that would really reflect who we are as persons, and we wanted it to look quite different from your usual house. And one way we achieve that is by building a very high structure with a very steep pitch roof, which give the house quite of a witch vibe that I'm really fond of. Also, this very high building allow me to have this space to create, and the view is just amazing here. We have a river flowing across, and I can watch the birds and just be inspired by the nature around me here. Now we're back on the first floor, and I'm gonna show you the bathroom, which is divided into two parts. A private part and a less private part. In this part of the bathroom we have the washing machine, which we were lucky enough to find this really tiny washing machine used for very cheap. It works really well. Here we have an old sink, which we also found used. We don't have the faucet yet to make this sink usable, but it will be in the near future as well. Here we have our little medicine cabinet, which Remi built, and it's also where we keep our toiletries and every hygiene product basically. Underneath the counter here is where the water pump is, and also the water tank. We also keep our trash cans and reusable bags there. And now here's the toilet system. So behind this curtain here we have our composting toilet, which is tucked away in a little cabinet, which I'm going to show you. We have the toilet here, which is in a drawer, which is very practical. We can draw it out when we want to use it and then tuck it away when it's not in use. We also have this little compartment to put the sawdust. The toilet is basically a bucket, and we fill it out with sawdust as we use it, and then when it's full we empty it outside in a special container. Then we have our water heater here. It's a propane on-demand water heater. It works really well for us, except for one thing. Since we are living in a very cold climate, we had the problem of the heater freezing during the winter, and that's also partially why there's only a curtain here, so to make sure that the heat of the wood stove can also heat this part of the house so the pipe doesn't freeze. On my right we have a full-size bathtub and also a rain shower. Even though this space is really small, we managed to fit a full-size bathtub in here. It also doubles up as a rain shower, which is really nice. And that concludes the full witch house tour. Hope you liked it.
Oh.
If we had the chance to do it all over again, I don't think we would do anything different. And the reason is me and Remi, we function in a very similar way, and it's when something doesn't work for us, we simply change it. And we know that this house is a lifelong project and it will be improved during the course of our own evolution.
The fact that we are alone in the wood make that we can be our true ourselves, because there's nobody around to judge us, so we can talk our dog if we want, we can go swim naked in the river, we can make whatever that we want, and it's okay. I mean, it's okay, we are just free people. I think it's the most important thing in life.
Yeah. To be naked in the river.
Non, est-ce trop?
Non, c'était drôle. Ok.